10:58. You know how so many times, when something like this happens, how people start thinking in their head about what are they going to do and what are they going to say?
Sure.
I have been literally working on myself. I don't want any conversations in my head. I don't want anything pre-said. I want it to just kind of happen how it's supposed to happen.
I got you.
That's tough.
Yeah. Well, here's the. Yeah, there it is. We're rolling because I have the audio up. I'm doing the usual check, as everyone knows. Welcome in. It is NateThology episode 13, if you can believe that. Episode 13, season finale. We're wrapping up because next Friday I will be on a very important mission with some of the knuckleheads that I golf with. We have the Keller Golf Association winter meetings. Very important. That's next Friday. Friday after that is the day after Christmas. We'll be still making merry. And then when we get back for the new year, we're going to go back to our regular format, our exciting format of coffee with a capper or latte with a liter or macchiato with a mega, whatever we decide to call it. We're gonna get a chance to make sure everybody gets to meet the ALC for 2026, which is going to be jumping into their chairs just after the holiday, which is super cool. We are super fortunate to have the Darlene Colwell-Ellis here. Also Mother Teresa. Oh, she has other nicknames that we can't use because this is public television. I'm just kidding. We're going to talk to her about all of the things. But that's our friendly reminder. This is the season finale. And if you're like, why is it NateThology? What the hell does that mean? And of course, he's so funny because he's so humble. He's like, I hate the name. And I'm like, bro, like,
but it's what it's
the company's
about.
21.
Yes,
I love saying this because it makes me feel better because I'm at my advanced age of 54. I love reminding him that he's 50, but he's still younger than me. And shorter and better looking. But anyway, so yeah, we're doing this to celebrate 21 years of Keller Williams, or KWCLM as it were. We're doing it to celebrate Nathan and his 50 years of Hold My Beer. I mean, that's been his whole career. Is just like, you know what? Nobody else is going to do it. We're going to do it. So, and that's created a pathway for us to attract phenomenal talent like yourself. So if you can help me understand, help everyone understand, because it's a longer road for you because you had a career before real estate.
Yes.
So I want you to get me, normally when I sit with a new agent and we have that first meeting, it's, hey, just so I can get to know you before you do KPA, before we start setting goals, get me from high school graduation to this conversation. I need you to just get me from high school graduation to you deciding you're going to do real estate. Give us that. And we have 14 hours. I'm going to have food shipped in. Don't worry. Go ahead.
Well, we have 51 years to cover.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
From high school. You do know that.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So, Tim, it's really funny because as I was sharing with you earlier, I've lost sleep all week and I've been thinking about this and trying to put it all together. Like, how did it start and when did it start and why did it start? And how was the real estate, how did that fit in my life from when I was a kid? So I have to share two things with you. One of the things that was always most important to me, I can remember when I was 14, 15, 16 years old. And I don't know if people remember this because I'm probably really dating myself, but they had those commercials on TV. And the commercials on TV were always about the mission stuff. And they were always about the children in Africa.
Yes.
I can't even tell you. I wanted to be there more than you can even imagine. I wanted to go into the ROTC, and life doesn't go the way that we want. And we don't make the right choices and the right decisions.
It was UNICEF. Or ROTC, ROTC, or Peace Corps, all those kind of commercials.
Peace Corps, that's what it was.
Yeah, sure.
And it's what I always wanted to do. Going back over this last week and just really thinking about things, it brought me back to, my upbringing and thinking about my parents. My dad was an amazing, amazing man. He's been gone a very, very long time, but he was entrepreneurship. He was all about that, owning his own businesses, doing his own things. And he had really tough standards. He had tough standards, and you pull yourself up by your bootstraps and you do this and you do this. He was an uneducated man, but he was a very, very incredibly, wealthy man in many, many ways. And he buried money in the basement. I mean, literally to that point. And he had all kinds of businesses.
Where is that basement? I'm asking for a friend.
It's on Toland Road in Dover. And my sister is still on the original farm.
Oh, I love all of that.
Toland Road, Dover. My dad owned a 100-acre farm. He owned both sides of the street all the way down. And the road ended back then.
Oh, sure. Okay.
It was all dirt road after that.
Yeah.
It isn't now. It goes to Rochester.
Yep.
But anyway, he worked for somebody. And working for somebody, Lawrence Town, That's a name I haven't heard for a long time. He was a contractor. So my dad was a finished contractor, but he wasn't making money. He wasn't just getting where he needed to be.
Yeah.
So he started purchasing properties. He started purchasing apartment buildings. He started renovating them. I remember having to take torches and torching lead paint doors and scraping the paint off them and redoing them. I did that as a kid. And he did all these.
You look great.
Yeah, right? You think about it going back.
You're in a hazmat suit. What are you doing after school? Torching lead paint.
Yeah, torching lead paint all the way back 15, 16 years old.
Yep.
But then I still had all that other medical stuff in my head about what I wanted to do. So I married very, very young. I grew up on a farm, and we went to court to get permission to get married. Had to go before the judge. And back then, the gentleman was older, was my two boys' dad. And because he was older, he needed me to get more education in case he wasn't around. Well, guess what I went into? I went into the nursing. So became a nurse and did that. It was incredible. Life didn't go the way that it should have with that. I was hurt very bad. I'd lost the function of one of my legs and I couldn't walk. Had to retire. Retired with the state of New Hampshire and started working at a company, Continental Cablevision. It was an incredible... Oh, I want to back up for 1 second. I meant to tell you this other thing.
It's your show. Go ahead.
Before I even went into nursing school, okay, so I've got the dad bit and all of that.
Sure.
My first apartment was at Tri-City Apartments in Dover, out behind Somersworth. I don't know if you remember them. 270 units. Well, guess what Darlene did? I was their rental agent. I rented out those units. They paid me by the hour, and if I remember correctly...
Were you like the RA? Did you get your room for free?
No, I had to pay my rent.
Okay.
And they paid me about $40 or $45 per unit that I rented, plus I got hourly pay. And I helped fill that building, okay? The rentals. It's just like, this is, right?
That's crazy,
This is really, and I forgot all about this until this week when I happened to be thinking about it. So anyway, I then went to work. I did that for a period of time. Then I went to nursing school. And like I said, things didn't go the way they should. And I had been hurt very bad. And I went to Continental and I got into the customer service. I got into that. And I loved customer service. I can't even tell you. That company was amazing. And I loved helping people. That was just... I've always put other people first. And that was probably to a fault until later years. And then... my friend Terry opened her own company, and I think many of you do know Terry Hale, Terry McMaster.
Yes, ma'am.
Terry McMaster and I were best friends through school. She'll never tell you any stories because I've got the same stories on her.
I was just going to say.
Oh, my gosh. And we laugh. Oh, my gosh, we laugh. We're going to have dinner next week, but we laugh so much about the
Where's
different
dinner
things.
going to be?
We're going to La Dolce in Dover.
Oh,
and we're really looking forward to it because we'll probably just laugh and have dinner and just kind of catch up on all the different stuff and the stories. And
and I'm not speaking of like the amount of consumption of alcohol, but you're like Norm at Massimo's. Like with you're at the bar historically, yes. So I figured it would be Massimo's, but La Dolce, okay.
It's La Dolce, because it's close to home and close to where they are. But yes, my places I love.
Yes.
But there's a story behind that too, which we can get to that at the very end about my Massimo's and my La Dolce and Anatolia's and all of my favorite little places that right.
So good.
And all of my favorite little places.
First time I was there, I saw you.
You did.
I was going into the what am I looking at?
You were the friend.
Universal bathrooms. I was waiting outside a Universal bathroom, and the door opened, and I think it was a night that I did business planning clinic, and you came out, and you're like, "Oh my God, I'm here with my family. I had a big closing. I meant to go to class today." I'm like, "It's okay, Darlene. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
I just need the men's room."
I've run into you everywhere, Tim. What's up with that?
Horrifying, isn't it? Yes.
Yep. So anyway, life had changed quite a bit for me, and I was a single mom. Even through all of that, though, Tim, how many different times that I built properties and I flipped them, not even putting it together. You know what I mean? That it was all like kind of like laying the works
Prologue.
for this,
right?
Yeah. Exactly. And so anyway, Terry, she's like, Darlene, you can't stay where you are. And it wasn't working, single mom and trying to do everything. She says, come to the real estate, come do rentals with me. Yeah. We did corporate relocation. We did the rental. I was placing 200 families a year. That's how many people that I was placing, getting them set up. And it could have been somebody that their very, very first apartment, and it was a one little tiny room to this big corporate. Back then, I was renting out Ford's Landing for $500 a month. Ford's Landing, $500 a month. And all the different people that were in my life. I worked for all of the biggest names of Dover, all of the people that owned Dover. You Hopkins and Fournier and Skelsis and Mayers, all of them. Terry and I worked for all of them, did all, in addition to, ones that might have had one unit. I mean, back then, I think Mr. Hopkins had, 150 units? That was incredible. He started buying in other places. Bob Mayers might have had 90. I mean, just think about it. And we literally were responsible for doing all of that. And I mean,
this is probably a rhetorical question. Do you think you have the inclination to do that if your dad doesn't lovingly beat that into you? Like you have to have ownership of what you're doing and you have to make your own way?
It had to be.
Yeah.
And thinking about that, it had to be, always being. Because even before, like right immediately after school, before I was married, and I was married very young. I was married at 17 years old. That's why I had to go to court to get permission. But I worked with Dad. My dad had multiple business. My father had a garbage truck, a big old packer, and he used to go around to Barrington and Northwood and Nottingham, and he was the garbage man. Guess what? Darlene rode on the back of the packer, and we drove around, and I'd get out and get the garbage and throw it in. He was a butcher. He went around to all the farms, and he butchered all the animals for all the big farmers. Guess what Darlene did? Right there beside him, helping him literally, Tim, butcher pigs, cows, chicken. I hate it. Don't want to do that today. I want no part of it. But think about that. I've thought about that so much this week, that's literally what taught me that what you have to do for yourself. You know what I mean? As far as, you won't make it working for somebody. You have to have something working for you. You have to run something. You have to take responsibility. Yeah. And how many different times that, life got really, really tough and really difficult. And all I could ever hear, is pull yourself up by your bootstraps, kind of get going. I remember one time I felt like my world was falling apart. I had just completed a house that I lived in alone with my two boys. And Terry ended up moving in with me, and she had a change in life circumstances. Her and the two girls moved in with me. We ended up taking in another roommate. Another girl had moved in with us. So 3 women, 4 children, all living in the house. Life was tough. We couldn't even afford a Christmas tree. We got the little top of a Christmas tree, but put it up on big boxes with fancy stuff all over it. So it looked like we had an incredible tree. There's a point. Where the heck was I going with this? Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I've got to slow it down.
Well, you were dancing around your work ethic. And the one thing that I always notice with you is, even when you're not going to be terra firma here in New Hampshire doing real estate, even the cruises you go on with Lesniak are like networking cruises.
Incredible.
Or you're going, and we'll get to it at some point, you go overseas, and I've always called you Mother Teresa, and you're going over doing X, Y, or Z. Like, when's the last time you just took a day?
I can't answer that because I just don't. There's always the networking, and there's always working with people or helping people. I ended up buying a couple of properties down in York, and a few weeks ago I did take a day.
Oh, how dare you?
I know. And I didn't answer the phone. I walked on the beach. I went shopping. I didn't talk to anybody. And it was very weird. It was very hard. It was very strange because I realized I have to do that because I'm trying to, I'm getting very far into my career, building the team to the point that I don't ever want to give it up. And I told Nate that for a long time I was going to retire. He says, you're not leaving. You're never going anywhere. You know what? I don't think I am. Because I love so much what I do. It's just different now. Yeah. But I'm trying to put it all together and to understand it all and how life went. I remember what I was going to say when I was talking about, being at the house that house was on Toll End Road, the house that I built and I lived in with all those girls. My dad gave me that piece of land, but the deal was it was part of the 100-acre farm on the other side. So the deal was you can have the land. You got to pay the cost to make it happen, to subdivide it, to break it off, Yeah. So he was always putting me into real estate transactions. I didn't even realize it. So, it started literally that long ago. Yeah. But I remember life was really tough at that point. And I had a meltdown. I'm in tears and everything. And I remember going to my parents and it was like, they didn't want to hear it. You got this. So I learned very, very early and very young that we all have adversities, but to use those adversities to be able to make yourself stronger and to get further, to get further along in life,
Well,
So,
your dad created your parents created the arena for you to fail in. I mean, I hope you'll follow me on this. I think right now there's a lot of kids who, aren't given the opportunity to fall off their bike and skin their knees, right? And it's funny too, because I know we share the gray hair. So there's a lot of parents that will say this. And this was actually at a Keller event. The comment that was made was basically, here's the generation that everyone gets a trophy. And this young agent got up and he goes, you guys ordered the trophies and handed them out. Like he talked about how we enabled that as parents, as a generation to our kids, and when he said that, I thought it was interesting. But I think your dad and Gary Vee, who's actually going to be at Family Reunion, he's going to speak at Social Con on Sunday. He talks about when he got over here from Belarus and his dad had the liquor store in New York. He basically said to his dad, just let me go play in this space. I don't want you to pay me. Let me just go eat shit in this space and make all my mistakes and let it be a sandbox for me to learn in.
Yes.
Different strategy for your dad, but he kept putting opportunity in front of you. And he knew that you had the intellect to figure it out. And if it gets screwed up, it gets screwed up, but she's going to learn.
Right.
And they just kept telling you, we're here if something goes horribly wrong, but FitFo, go figure it out. Yeah. Right.
And it's funny because, one thing that I've always felt sorry for myself about, and this was a really eye-opening thing for me over this last few weeks of thinking about, this session, is I've always thought, if only I'd had more mentorship, if I'd had, more of this, what could I have done? But you know what? When I really sat and I looked at that and I thought about it, you know how many mentors I've had in my life and how many incredible people that I've learned from and how many different people that I've been able to build wealth with and for. It took me a long time to really turn it around, to start doing it for myself. How amazing is that? Right down to when I built that house on Toll End Road, that was a huge thing. That was huge for me because that was my first thing alone. Going to the bank. My dad had said to me that he would sign on the mortgage with me if need be. And I remember Jerry Gilbert, and Jerry Gilbert's now an agent and he's down in Florida. And I still hear from him every now and then, even to this day. I remember him calling me up on the phone, Darlene, you're approved. I started to cry in the living room at my parents' house. I started to cry. I said, Jerry, that's awesome. When do you want Dad and I, to come in and sign? Darlene, I don't need your dad. He says, we're doing it on you.
Wow.
We're doing it on you,
yeah,
just
awesome.
on you, because we believe. I mean, fast forward to my story of 4th Street Depot.
I was just going to say the Depot building.
Unbelievable with Bill Sawyer. It was the same thing. And what he made me do and what he made my son Doug do in order for me to get that was the biggest sale of my career. I'm fast forwarding into some things now. But that was just incredible. And Bill Sawyer made my son take out a life insurance policy on himself, naming me beneficiary. Because if anything, he says, Doug, if anything happens to you, your mom isn't going to quite be able to carry this by herself.
Yeah.
And he made him.
You don't have a lot of time to make sandwiches.
Right, exactly. But I mean, think about that, and all those different people that came into, why? Why did they come into my life like that? I believe now, today, it's because of how I feel that I've always worked very hard to conduct myself in my word and stand by it, and always putting other people first and what was most important to me, because it really was, and take it right back to, I love it. It's so endearing to me. You calling me Mother Teresa. I don't even begin to hold a candle to Mother Teresa. She was an amazing, amazing person.
You're our Mother Teresa, yes.
But thinking about even all of that and when all that missionary stuff started and how all of that tied in. So even though I wasn't able to go and do all the nursing maybe the way that I wanted to, how it all worked out through the years that it really all became very intertwined together. When I was doing the missionary work in Haiti, that's a story that, I need 2 hours alone just to talk about all that.
We're doing a mini-series next season. Yeah, you'll be back.
Okay. But 8 times going to Haiti. Real estate tied into all of that. Do you remember the gentleman that owned 240 units in Dover, Paul? the big brick building, he gave me $10,000 to take to Haiti. I had another big investor from Washington, D.C., gave me $10,000 because Paul said, ask him if he wants to trump me. They each gave me $10,000 to take to Haiti. I taught in nursing schools in Haiti and had to have an interpreter teaching the kids while I was there. Oh, that was the hardest thing I ever did in my life.
You've been to Haiti 8 times and you're not fluent in Creole? I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked.
That's one thing I don't do well with that. But I think about that and I think about my people there. And that's
that you show up with 20 grand. They're like, we don't really care what she says. Just
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't care. But
she's a wonderful woman. She showed up with a bag of cash and she's here to help.
But when they called me and they asked me to go teach all those nurses in Haiti, what the heck am I going to say to them? How am I going to teach them? You could hear a pin drop and I was so scared. I didn't even know. And I'm teaching and telling everything. No one is saying anything. We get down to the end. Tim, the next thing you know, hands are going up left and right, asking me questions. They asked me to go back again. It was incredible. But it all tied back into like the real estate. I think about my most favorite, I don't want to say it that way. Some very, very influential clients. My Mike and Neil, that I did almost 100 transactions with them. How much I helped them build wealth.
Yeah.
I went and bought properties for them they never even saw. That's
trust.
Can you believe that?
That's immense trust.
And I would, nope, you don't want this one, or yep, we want this one. And I'd give Neil a price. He'd say, add 10,000 to it. Everyone that I went to through that whole crash, when I had 10 things under contract at one point, and 9 were bank foreclosures. Everything that I went for and I got for those guys, Neil would always say, add 10 grand to it. We walked away with everything, every single thing. And then I sold those properties for him. And think about, and you know what they did for me? They bought a motorcycle for one of my guys in Haiti because he was a med school doctor living up in the village and need to get in. But it all tied together. So I feel like I didn't get to do this, which was really my love, but I did. Yeah. And I did it with what I really love and what I got very good at, And I think about, I left, so I went to work with Terry and I worked with her for 7 years. And then I met up with my RE/MAX group.
Yeah.
Amazing. I can't even tell you how incredible those people were. And Terry was very sad that I left. You won't do it. You can only do rentals. But I sat down with Mike and Dave and John and those guys and like, Darlene, do you realize what you're leaving on the table and what you're not doing?
Yeah.
And that was 12 years.
Yeah.
And it was an incredible 12 years. And life got very hard again, very difficult. And I had some tough times with my dear best friend in the whole wide world, as you know, is Tim.
Yeah.
And
such a good name.
It's a great name. And he's an incredible man. And he became my second husband.
Yeah.
And he went into the missionary stuff with me. We traveled all over the world and the things that we did. And he started buying properties with me and we started developing and flipping and doing all these things. And then a very sad change of life circumstances happened.
Yeah.
And some serious medical things and life changed. But we got through all of that and we continued. And again, where is it today? I needed to make a change from RE/MAX because that's when that whole piece happened. Nate had been after me. I'd known Nate. What did we decide? 31 years. I've known Nate.
You said you met him when he was 19.
I met him when he was 19 years old. I worked for Terry Hill Agency. And I remember him coming up to Floral Ave. I saw him up there. He came into the building when I was working for Terry. He owned properties on Court Street. I remember talking to him about that. He was a kid. He was a baby. Mm. And I don't remember exactly. What did you say? It was 20 years ago that he started KW?
We'll be 22 in July. So it's 21 now.
21 years.
Yeah, July 1st, 2004.
I don't remember at what point it was at that he had started asking me about joining him. Don't remember.
If I had to guess, it would have been the first conversation.
When did it, so what year would it?
It's pretty high D.
What year would it have been that he started it then?
Oh, here?
Yes.
Yeah, because don't forget he was with Kathy Rush before.
Correct. And that's
so
when I knew him. So he
escapes radio. He does Kathy Rush, and he was leaving there, headed to RE/MAX, ironically, and then of course John Duffy said, you got to go talk to these guys in Texas.
And
so he's having the conversations
Okay.
about getting it started like late 2003. And then he launches
All
July
right.
1st, 2004.
So it had to have been right around that time then. Yes, it was, because my first mission trip.
Because he told us, I mean, he was having conversations, quiet conversations on Cushing in the ranch. He and the wife, right? And of course, she's sitting.
That was my sister-in-law's house.
She's sitting next to him. You know, of course, Tara's sitting next to him, saying, "What are we doing?"
Yes.
But
yes,
it all seemed to work out. We're doing okay.
So it had to have been sometime around that time, because you figure I started. I don't remember what year I started at Remax, but I was there for 12 years. But he started the conversations. I remember doing my first missionary trip to 2004. Tim and we went to Cambodia and Vietnam, and I can't even tell you, that was life-changing. And Nate had started trying to get me to go with him, and Michael Whitney started on me. And it got to the point between the two of them, I would see them someplace out in the street, and I'm like, don't even talk to me.
Just stop it.
Just stop. Just leave me alone. I don't even want to hear it, because I was so happy. And I had an incredible family where I was.
Yeah.
And one of the owners of that company at the time,
Mike Hill, like one of the absolute
amazing
best.
Mike would work until 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and guess who was in that office right there with him? He taught me so much. I loved working with him. And I remember the first time we set a goal that I wanted to make I wanted to make $200,000. I wanted to make $200,000. That was my goal that I had set. And Mike he pushed me, and I worked hard, and I still did the rentals. I did a lot of sales, but I still did a lot of the rentals. I even did management when I first went with Remax. Oh, I gave that up. That's tough. UPM can have all of that.
Yes.
So I remember doing all of that. And that year, we were down into, it might have been the beginning of December, and I had made $197,000. And Mike is pushing me, Darlene, we're almost there. And I says, Michael, I don't need to make any more. Are you kidding me? To make that kind of money 25 years ago? Right?
Yes,
25 years ago? And I'm like, Michael, I don't need to do any more. And I made that. And it was incredible. But it made me see, and it made me realize what you're capable of when you really put your mind to it, and you do it, because the one thing that I've always done, Tim, is I always do all these things because it's what I love to do, what I want to do, and it's not about the money. And I have a point of saying these things, which I'm going to tie it together when we get to KW. Failing forward, and the more you fail, and all these different things, it's all tied in, and it's all been a part of my life. So life changed very dramatically again for me right after that 2004. When did I come here? 2010. I came here to KW, right? In 2010. And I started taking classes here with Shannon. And Shannon was amazing.
Yeah, we had the center training room over on Islington. It was in the middle of the building upstairs.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
And
that was JV's first job as a Keller person. She came in after having Delaney, and she was had just had Delaney, and Nate's like, "Can you get all the boxes out of this room? We're going to make a training room."
And Shannon was running that. And you know what she did, though, which really impressed me, is she opened it up to everybody.
Yep.
It wasn't just KW.
Yep.
She opened it up to everybody. So like I said, my personal life had really gotten very difficult for me around that time. And I needed to make some changes, and I needed to do something different. And I needed to make a decision for me. I needed to do it for me, not for anybody else, because everything I did was always for other people. But that's what I loved, and that's what I wanted to do. I made the decision I wanted to come to KW for me. And it was because of the education, and because of the fact of some of what I knew the principles were and what they believed in and what Gary said. And this was even before I came here, okay? Just listening maybe to Shannon and coming into the classes and in the culture. And I saw a little tiny piece of that. But I always made decisions for my family, for my clients, for my kids, for spouse, different things like that. But I wanted to do it for me. And I needed more education. I wanted more. I wanted to be more. I wanted to do more. And that's why I finally made the decision that I wanted to come to KW. So I reached out to Nate and Michael. Nobody called me back.
Well, you yelled at them. You said, stop.
Leave me alone. Nobody called me back. Never returned my calls. I was crushed. I was devastated. What's going on? What's going on? And I kept calling. It was in Florida. Everybody was on vacation. And I didn't know that. So they hadn't got my messages. So they called me, when I got back.
Yeah.
When they got back and made me an appointment. And I remember going to the, not Lafayette, the Islington Street.
Yeah. The women's prison, as I affectionately call it.
What an incredible office over there.
Was it though? Which one do you remember?
I had the little tiny room that was a closet that I think belonged to Melissa. And you put Holly and we had enough to put the desks together and 2 chairs, but you couldn't even walk in there. So we had a little tiny closet in there. And that was my first
because you were
office.
your windows were on the street side.
Oh, I didn't have any window. Not my first office.
Oh, you didn't. Oh, okay.
Then I was on the street side. That was Jay's old office?
Because Nate's office was fantastic because you could open the window and go out onto the roof of the bank.
Oh, gosh.
And watch the Christmas parade.
Yep.
And some people got locked out there sometimes, which is always
That
good.
was a pretty amazing office. That was a lot.
It was good. I made fun of it because it was like the thing that always concerned me is if you're in a corporate building and somebody's in the hallway above you on the next floor, you should not be able to hear them walking down the hallway. It was like Nana's house.
Yes.
Like you knew your uncle was upstairs. Like it was, and they've improved it, but I used to refer to it as the women's prison because it was just not very beautiful.
But that's actually where you and I connected again too.
Yeah, because I was sitting on like there was a little bench outside his office, which used to be upstairs right off the elevator, and you popped out. I'm like, hey, and you're like, yeah, I'm coming over here to play, and I just started because I started July of 2004. No, so 2010. Yeah, I was July. Yeah,
and I was November 2010.
Yeah, so I was only there a handful of months before you.
Oh, isn't that was so funny?
Yep.
Yeah, and I knew you from a life past.
Yep.
But from that, when did you start calling me Mother Teresa?
Almost immediately when I knew you were flying illegally with $20,000 to go to foreign countries. I don't know. Maybe Pablo Escobar is a better nickname, but no, I'm just kidding. Gosh. Yeah, Mother Teresa. I found out that you took vacation by going to take care of people in third world nations. So I think it stuck. It made sense.
Funny. That's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
But that was incredible. But Tim, when I first went there, let me back up for a second. So I remember having the interview with Nate there and sitting downstairs in the conference room. He gave me that red book and I started going through that red book.
Yes.
And the story that I read in there first, about what is first with KW. And my kids told me not to even talk about this, but I have to because it's just, to me, it just like tied everything together. It's God, family first. That's first.
God, family, business. Yeah.
And
which is it. What's really interesting is you can look at it 2 ways. And I always say, because obviously we're ecumenical here. Like whatever your faith is, whatever that first word is for you, God, faith, charity, whatever that first word is for you, God, family, business. And it's not that business comes last. It does. Correct. In the order of importance. But if you look at it foundationally, we have to have the business to be able to fund our family.
Yes.
And have the wherewithal to practice our faith and celebrate our faith and fly across the world and take care of people. Right.
Yes.
But I love that you brought that up because I didn't know that when I first got here. I've always said I've the unsexiest why I joined this company story ever. I knew him from radio.
Yes.
He escaped. Radio for me ends in 2009 because Cheap Channel, our dear friends over at iHeartMedia, they're hiding now behind a different name. They had a 3,000 person execution on a Friday in April of 2009.
Oh
and I'm like, I'm not going to throw my family in a station wagon and drive around looking for my next morning show. Like I'm good. So I wasn't sure what was next, but we were buying our house because the kids were starting school.
When all of this happened.
Yeah. No, we started the journey afterwards, but when I start shopping, I call the person I know and love and trust, Nate Dickey. And when we're leaving the closing November of 2009, he's like, dude, just get your license.
Yes.
Which I'm like, do people do that? And clearly we do. And Janina was like, what was that all about? And I'm like, Nate told me to get my license. And she's like, okay. Because I was just sort of working a couple of different sales jobs around Portsmouth, trying to figure out what was next. I just knew I wasn't going to chase radio. Like the breadcrumbs were there that the industry was changing, and it was going to be Howard Stern and Ryan Seacrest and nobody else eventually. And now it's just Ryan Seacrest because apparently Howard's going away. But that's a story for another time. So yeah, I was just super fortunate. And when I look back, people are always say to me, do you miss radio? I miss what it was when I was working alongside Nate, when he was still doing sales.
Like, it's not the same.
It was a frat house. It was fantastic.
It was different.
But when I look and just going even further back to the tie to God family business, I felt so comforted when I discovered that, because I didn't know about that. I came here because I trusted Nate.
Yes.
Then I saw that. And when I think for me after high school, as you know, I went to the seminary. Yes, and I dated Jesus for 4 years.
I did know that.
And then I'm like, no, I do want to get married. I do want to do radio. If I don't take those 4 years to sit still and like listen to my faith and study for the priesthood, that doesn't put me in the holding pattern to ever meet Janina when I start my internship at Kiss 108. Wow. And I never come up here because my internship at Kiss 108 turns into me coming up to ERZ. I'm pointing to the building that's not there anymore. They're condos now. And I never run into the redheaded kid that owns this company. So me giving 4 years of my life to see if priesthood was right for me gives me the opportunity to find my wife and find Nathan.
It's incredible.
Which I'm sure if you ask them, they're both disappointed with the outcome, but here we are, right? So like, I have no regrets about that. And radio, I had 15 years of radio. And I had my entire on-air career was in that building between HEB and ERZ. So super fortunate.
The thing that
fortunate.
It is. And the thing that excites me the most about all of this is the two things that I love so much I'm able to do both of them together.
Yes. Yep.
When I read that in that book, I had tears in my eyes. I closed the red book, and that was my decision.
That's enough.
Because I came, but I came because of Nate and knowing him for so long, and because of him and Michael not leaving me alone. I love both of them so much.
Yep.
And how instrumental they've been in my life.
Yep.
Does part of me wish that I had come sooner? Yes. And then maybe not really, because of, what I mean? Just like the whole journey of how it had to go and the things that I did.
Yeah.
But then to be able to come over here and then to be able to tie all of it into all of my nursing and my missionary work and all of that, how incredible. When I went to my first huge, actually, I have to tell you, I gave up my nursing license and I reinstated my nursing license a year or two before January 2010, earthquake in Haiti. So I had been on missionary work, but it wasn't in a nursing capacity.
Yeah.
Tim and I went to Cambodia and Vietnam and El Salvador and all these different places. But it wasn't in that same medical capacity. So I went back and reinstated it. But when I did that I have to tell you, I got to share that story with you. Holly and I were here at KW, and we were in that little tiny closet upstairs, and we had been transferred over. Oh my gosh, Justin was living on a boat.
Calcourse, yes.
He was living on a boat, and he used to have a closet, and he would get dressed in the closet.
Oh my
upstairs.
God, he had pink tutus and suits and.
Yep. I can't even tell you.
Fire hats.
That was one of the best offices.
Yes.
But anyway, I had just switched over. It was 2010, and they had the earthquake in Haiti, and I left and I went to that, and I was gone for a month, and I slept on the ground. I worked in orphanages. I can't even tell you. And I went on that trip and I didn't think I was coming back. I said goodbye to my family. They didn't know I said goodbye. I said goodbye to my Tim. He took me to the bus station. He kissed me on the cheek. I didn't think I was going to ever see him again.
Yeah.
But I felt that I had been, I was being tested, and I was being asked if I truly believed everything that I felt that I believed at that time. Yeah. And all of the people that helped put everything together for me to be able to go. Holly worked for me for 1 month, and I didn't know this until I got back. She worked for me for 1 month, and do you know what she charged me? Her cell phone bill. That's what she charged me, her cell phone bill. Because she worked for me for free and kept my real estate business going for me to be able to go work for 1 month at the earthquake in Haiti. And that was the most incredible, life-changing event ever. And but think about even some of the stories that I've already shared with you, about, Paul and Larry and, Mike and Neil and all these different people that donated and gave. I mean, and Josh, who does it? Josh Matthews. That story. I went to Haiti with him. Look how his life changed and what he's done. Mark Zoller. All of these different people played such an important part, and they all helped me keep the real estate going while I'm off going and doing all this other stuff. How incredible is that? Absolutely incredible. And the one thing that I was able to do, Gary Keller is amazing. I wish I would be able to have a conversation and a meeting with him, 15 minutes of his time. I don't want to go on stage. I just would love to have 15 minutes of his time to be able to talk with him, for him to know how incredible his people are that he has, which I'm sure he knows, Nate, you, the staff here under him, but how much he has influenced my life with all the different things that he has said and what he believes in. And so much of it mirrored how I felt in my life, but I couldn't put it together. I just finished reading another book this week for the second time, Go Giver. Did you know he sponsored that book, or he was one of the ones that reviewed it? Are you familiar with that book? Oh gosh, you got to read it. Go Giver.
Goal Giver or Go Giver?
Go Giver. Okay. I think Nate gave me that book at one of the ALCs. I've read it for the second time. I finished it again. One night I couldn't sleep this week. I read it again. Absolutely incredible. And then I read in the back of it that Gary Keller was one of the ones that reviewed it to approve this book or something. I had no idea. He is such an amazing man, and he has all of the little things and the Kellerisms that we so fondly say. But have you really thought about it and like how much substance there really is? And I think about with Nate, I went on a boat with Ben Kinney. I had Jason Abrams teach me a class for a whole day. Not just me, but I mean other people.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, who's the other number one person? Adam Hergenrother. I mean, all those different people that I've been able to learn from, and they've instructed me and they've taught me, all because of Nate. What an incredible human being Nate is, but he always brought all of that to his people. You know what I mean? ALC. Being able to do that and to be able to have, that's why for so many years I wanted to do that, because of the incredible, oh my gosh. And there was another man, an older man over at the other side. Rice?
Alan Rice.
Oh my gosh.
You're talking about Bedford. Yeah. Bedford ownership.
Him coming in and teaching us all day. Do our agents now have those same opportunities with those same kinds of people, or are those people different now? They're different ones.
Yeah, just different people stepping into those roles.
What a blessing, is all of that, to be able to do it. And I think about it, but that's what, right down to my building and Nate coming to see my building and him telling me about a stupid cost segregation and things like that, because I didn't do it quite the way that I should have done it. That's a story in itself too, that building.
Yes.
That is an incredible story.
Yes.
I couldn't let a lot of people know about it for a long time because I illegally slept upstairs.
Yes,
in a little tiny room with no heat for 2 years. And for the first, month or two, I slept with a machete under my pillow because I was so afraid. But that's what I did to get that building going. And people in my family that knew I did it, they were not happy with me.
Yeah.
But I was determined it was something that I wanted to do, and I wanted to make a legacy. I wanted to leave a legacy with Dover. I love Dover. Yep. Dover's an incredible place. I find myself now on a Sunday out working and showing places and driving down the street and smiling and saying, thank you, God, for giving me Dover. How incredible is that? And for giving me everything else, like in my life.
What was obviously you got a wide footprint. You got great people on your team. You were just raving about your great nephew, who's in the mix now. I mean, we've heard like Troy. Troy was very staunch when he got here, and you said something similar. I ask all the veterans who might have been somewhere else any regrets, and most of you say, "I wish I had got here sooner." But to your point, you adore the past is prologue.
Yes,
and it all needed to happen.
And all made it happen.
you know, and Troy always jokes about, like, if my best friend wanted to buy in Kittery, I'd make him drive because I'm not leaving York.
Not leaving. I love that
and
story.
He expands from York through talent and through people, right? Human capital. And for you, what was the decision point that, like, or did it just naturally happen that Dover became your foothold?
I've lived there for 67 years.
Yeah.
I've traveled everywhere all over the world. I've lived in Dover for 67 years. I think I lived in Barrington for a couple of years, okay? Yep. But basically Dover. Yep. My sister still has the original, it's no longer a 100-acre farm because I did my first development with 40 acres, and she kept all the rest out to the river. My sister still has that today.
Yeah.
Before I get too far off subject, I want to say something, go back for 1 second, when you talked about Troy. Troy's an amazing man. Do you know, he pushed me one time and made me do something. I don't even know if he knows it. I've been trying to pick up the telephone when I think about different people and what kind of impact they've had on me. I try to pick the phone up and tell them what they mean to me, because I'm discovering, you know, all these mentors through the years. But Nate pushed me about that stupid cost segregation. He pushed me so hard on that. And I happened to tell Troy and Annie bought that big property from me over in Maine. I wished I bought it. Troy and Annie bought it. I wished I'd bought it. But anyway, and I got telling him about it, and he said, oh, Darlene, and blah, blah. And I said, okay, all right, yep. He says, Darlene, you need to call Troy. I will. I'll make sure I do that. No, Darlene, you make that call right this second. He made me make that call right that second. Call New York and get it set up for the cost segregation. You know what that cost segregation did for me? I can't even tell you how much money I made one year, and I made zero. As far as IRS was concerned, I made zero. I had to pay no taxes, and ended up putting an additional 80 or 90,000 in my pocket because of the building, and got to write off all of it, all of my income. And that was because of Nate and Troy. Little things like that, people sharing. Now, is that not mentorship? That's amazing. Anyway, you asked me, go back to the other question. I didn't mean to digress.
Well, just, I mean, I know that you lived 67 years in Dover, but we have a lot of people that are like, they're standing in the town that they could take over, and yet something draws them away to a different town, a shinier town. It had everything you needed. And it's such a great Dorothy at the end of The Wizard of Oz. Like, you didn't need to go find Oz. It's right in your backyard. So your passion, like when you're driving down the street and you're smiling and you're thinking, you know, thank God for the blessing of everything I have, and that the city has given it to me. And you're not going to walk away, you just said. So apparently you're going to Sandy Dyke this thing. We're going to have to kick you out. God bless her.
Sandy Dyke. And I'm going to be dancing when I'm 100. But it's different, though, as far as what I want to do a little bit differently.
And that's what I wanted to ask. Like, what does the legacy look like now for you?
So it really has turned more so into a legacy. You know, for the longest time, Tim, coming over to KW, with the exception of the first year, because the first year
was rough.
I still knew it all. You couldn't tell me anything. You didn't have anything to offer me. You know, I had my old Rolodex. You know, I didn't this, I didn't that. I knew too much. Boy, oh boy, I learned fast. I didn't know anything. And you had a lot to teach me, and everybody here did. You asked me where it's going to take, where it's taken me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, what is the legacy now? Like, when you are maybe sort of done and you decide to go to, I don't know, the Maldives where there's nothing to save and you get to sit in a thatch hut, whatever a break looks like for you.
So I had to figure that out too. My dear, most favorite travel buddy, Miss Melissa.
Yes.
We've been to 25 islands. I don't know if anybody knows that story. We've traveled. We've had so much fun. And
the Queen of Sea Glass.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
All the stories I could tell you. We've had so much fun. 25 islands. Because you know why, Tim? I needed to go find the perfect island where I wanted to retire and where I wanted to buy something. Well, I found it. I can't even tell you how much fun we had when we were there and what we did. And we met with the committees that we met with, and we became part of it. Oh, we were like the president when they brought us there. Just her and I. Nobody else showed up that was supposed to go. We were the only two.
Wow. So
I found the island I wanted to retire to. I flew my family over. I flew my grandbabies over. We flew first class. I found the property I wanted to buy. Doug and I went and looked at it. My son, Doug, we're going to buy this property. And guess what? I backed out. And I went and bought 2 little tiny fraction properties in York, Maine. And that's what I decided. That's what I ended up doing last year, because I don't want to leave here. I don't want to be away from 10 4th Street Depot. I don't want to be away from Dover, and I don't want to be away from here, because everybody here is amazing, and we're always looking for something else, and the grass is greener on the other side, instead of looking at how incredibly we are blessed with the people that we have in our lives. For a very, very long time, except for the first year, I wanted to build this team. I wanted to build this amazing team, and I kept trying, and it didn't work. It just didn't work. I just couldn't get it. I just couldn't put it together. And I don't know why. I wanted things different. I don't know. People didn't want what I wanted. I don't know what the problem was. And I had wonderful people. Different people have joined me and have left and joined me and left.
Sure.
But the team that I have now is so different. It has my beautiful stepdaughter Kayla on it. It has my niece Jamie. It has dear Delaney. It has Colby, Kayla. It has Sam. It has Megan. It has people that we've all had difficult, hard lives and things have been, and but we got a team that I can't even explain to you. I can't even tell you. And there isn't any of we all want to learn, and we all want to teach each other, and we all want everyone to survive. We all want everyone to not survive. We want everyone to excel.
Yeah.
We want to see people do amazing things. That's what I want to do. I want to help them with that. I want to teach them that. I want them to maybe learn some from my mistakes, but I really care about that happening. And I want those doors to stay open. I want someone to keep it going. I still want to go in every day and then go make a mess and bring the work in.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's right down to even Tim, what he does for me. I forgot my glasses yesterday. He had to go find my glasses for me and bring them to me because I couldn't see and I couldn't drive. Well, guess what? And then I forgot my phone. He had to go get my phone for me. He had to go find it and he had to bring it to me because I was at a meeting over in Somersworth. I mean, think about things like that. The people that I've got, I can't replace that.
Yeah.
I don't want to go anyplace else.
Yeah.
Not when I've got all of that, right there. It's incredible. And it's so exciting to watch these people grow and to see what you're capable of.
Yep. There was a great, it was a handful of years ago. We were in this building at that point. So I don't know what the date was. Mike Brody from just KW Greater. He was from the original Remax that was across the street that was pilfering people away from, away from Gary when Gary formed the first ALC and profit share and all that stuff. And Mike Brody and his son Tony have been with Keller for ages, and Mike Brody was coming up and he was going to see Dottie, who owns Greater Portland, and they were going to have dinner.
Oh, she's amazing.
They were going to have dinner, and on his way through, he called to see if Nathan was available so they could grab lunch. And he said, hey, if you've got like a bunch of kids hanging out, let's just get together. We'll do a Q&A. I'd love to meet any of the agents that happen to be at the Portsmouth office. So we put out an email and all that kind of stuff and let people know in the building that Mike Brody was going to be here. Not that they knew, right? He's a celebrity to people that know because he's been doing it so long. And if you remember when we used to get pieces of paper that gave us the details of our profit share?
I missed that.
Mike
I
Brody,
love that.
there's a running joke that some people say you're very excited if you become part of the Staple Club. If they have to staple 2 pages together, your profit share is probably great. And Mike Brody has always been part of the Clip Club. Those big black clips that you have to prong it open.
Are you kidding me?
His profit share report, he and Althea Osborne have profit share reports that are like this thick, right? I'm holding my piece of paper up, my pad of paper.
Isn't she the one you just said that had it that thick? She donated like $1 million because she made him profit share? Osborne or something?
Althea, yeah, probably.
Because I met her.
Yeah, she's awesome. She came ages ago. She came and met us at cultural summit with all the ALC members. And we were sitting there and she was on stage talking to whomever was hosting the dais, and they were asking her, hey, well, because she was talking about the fact that, she's got to the point where she and Mike Brody have like big fat clips over their reports.
I love that.
They've helped so many people. And somebody's like, well, Althea, like, you invite these people in, but once they get here, what do you do? And she's like, help and wait. And she was like, just be patient. They're not going to come in and start changing your life financially immediately. But like as Mo Anderson says, get 16 great people, 12 to 16 great people in your first line. Take care of those people, and greatness begets greatness. So Mike Brody comes in, he's talking, and somebody in the room, they're just like hearing his whole story and his profit share story and the fact that he basically, why is he here? They're like, so Mr. Brody, when are you going to retire? And he goes, that's such a great question. I get it quite often. He goes, I got to tell you, I woke up this morning in a pretty beautiful hotel in Boston. I woke up when my eyes opened. I went down to a rental car that I love because I picked out a nice one. I'm going to have lunch with my dear friend Nathan. I'm meeting you fine people. I'm going to go up and then have dinner with my dear friend Dottie. And I'm going to leave New England whenever I'm ready to head back to Texas. He goes, retirement's a mindset. Like, I love what I do. And I think you're talking about it right now. Like, you know, and the reason we sort of joke about Sandy Dyka finally stepping away. Like, I think if you can get to the point where, okay, there's a few more things in real estate that I still love. And I ask a lot of people when they get started, like, as you're in your freshman year, sophomore year of real estate, what's the first thing that you want to take off your plate when you're going from first level to second level? Is it the paperwork? For most of us? Yes.
Sure.
But on your last day of real estate, what would be the last thing you'd want to do? And Mike Brody is sort of emulating that he's just sort of flying around, hanging out with his friends. You know, retirement is, and Gary said this from stage, retirement is waking up when you want to and doing whatever you want to do with whoever you want to do, whenever you want to do it within the parameters of the law.
Isn't that true?
That's freedom. That's retirement. It's about choice. It's about opportunity.
And doing that.
Yeah.
You know, I think about Chris. Chris Bannon is also on my team. He does a little bit. He doesn't do a whole lot, but as you know, he's a pastor.
I was going to say,
he's a pastor.
And the faith-based community continues. Yes,
and he's incredible. And I have had. He's just a wise old soul.
Yeah.
And I've had so many conversations with him trying to understand.
And he doesn't look like it. When you meet him, you're like, you're in a rock band, but he's not
in a rock band and plays and his long hair and everything else. Yeah. But I just remember some of the different things that, you know, we've talked about, you know, with like the retirement and things, because people push you and everyone says you need to retire. You don't have to retire. It's just exactly what you just said. And he said to me, you know, Darlene, we all have choices. People retire, and you've got the people that go to work every day and they decide they're all done and they stop and they go home and they watch TV. They watch TV and they just wait for life to end. He says, and then you get the others that they choose to retire, but they want to go and they want to do some golfing, or they want to do a little of this and a little of that with their TV or whatever. He says, and then you've got the others, and that they don't ever really retire. They become the mentors. They become the mentors of the younger people or in their business or wherever.
Yeah.
So exactly what you're talking about. And that's what I want to do. That's who I want to be. That's how I want it to be. Yeah. Because I really feel that inside of me, that always wanting to help other people, that just is what it is. Yeah. That's who I am. I can't change that. And that's what I want to do. I want to help other people, you know, to build wealth and to be all they can be, whatever that is, you know, and whatever they choose. But I mean that from the very bottom of my heart. Yeah. I mean that.
Well, Gary talks about if you've ever, and I know you've been in the class, Quantum Leap, just a phenomenal class. I call it
the Quantum Leap one?
The Quantum Leap class, yeah. I think when I try to explain to people, because I love teaching business planning clinic next Thursday, by the way, shameless plug.
Oh, we got that coming up next week. Thursday, I can't wait.
Yep. I love teaching business planning clinic. Quantum Leap I adore because I feel like it's, and especially when we start the class and we read that sort of sonnet from Gary, it's sort of like his love letter to real estate. And it's not real estate, it's life-based for sure. I think Bold is more life than business. I think Quantum Leap is more life than business. But he talks about the fact, to your point, that we grow up and there's learn, earn, and then play. Yes. We have these quadrants in our life, not quadrants, I guess, because it's triptychs in our life. Like in my youth, I'm going to learn. Then I'm going to go out as an adult and earn. And then eventually at some point I'm allowed to go play. And Gary's like, just take that and tip it on its side.
Yes.
Why can you not have a day where you learn and then earn and play? And if you cannot capture that in every day, no judgment, but like, let's look at your schedule. Right. You know, and why does most of corporate America, and I hope most of our agents don't feel this way, but most of corporate America is like, you know, thank God it's Friday. And then the scary Sundays, you know, when the Patriots, God willing, are wrapping up an AFC championship at about 4:15 on Sunday. Are you going to be freaking out that you have to start to be a real estate agent again in the morning?
Right.
Or you get to be a real estate agent every day.
Yeah.
Right.
I've said that so many times to people. I've been doing this 34 years, right? 34 years.
I believe you.
How many people can say that they still get up every day and they can't wait to go do what they do 34 years later.
Yeah, excited about it.
Are there days that I'm tired? And
sure.
Days, of course there are. I'm not saying that. You know, and another thing that Gary, he's so wise. He's so incredibly wise and humble. And that's amazing because he reminds me in some respects kind of like my dad. My dad was humble. You never bragged. You never showed things. You just were always helping others, etc. But the one thing he says to me, and I pass this on to my grandchildren, and my grandchildren roll their eyes at me, leaders read. Leaders read, you never stop learning. Gary says that all the time, never. And just what you explained about turning it up and doing all those things every day. So your first stage of life, you're learning. You never stop learning. You never stop learning. You never stop reading. I say that to my Callie. She rolls her eyes. Oh, Nanny, I know.
Yeah, I know.
Says, Callie, Nanny, leaders read, you know. But I think about all those things and passing those things down, you know, to people. And for people to know how incredibly special they are and to really mean that. And I think, Gary, the other thing that he really says is you always put other people's priorities before yours. Yeah. And it's never about the money. That is so incredibly important. And that's in that book with Pender, the Go-Giver. The Go-Giver, yeah. It talks all, you got to read that book.
I will.
That's what it talks about. And how these people became so incredibly successful because they all had those same beliefs and those same ethics and that's why he put his name on it, because he liked all the stuff that was in it. Sure.
They did a great job. I will take some credit for this. Yeah,
exactly,
for sure.
Right?
Well, it's funny. People can't see it on camera, but to your left, over your shoulder, and to your right, I have those, I have my book trees, and I was concerned I'm going to run out of space because as we have events and people, for my learning at my advanced stage, I've decided it is best for me to get the tangible book because I'm old school and I love holding the book. But I also get the Audible. And as an infant, right? Because now this is going to make you feel like you're in fourth grade in the library. You're sitting crisscross applesauce and the teacher's reading to you. Okay. Yeah. I found I learn better if I listen to the Audible. And I love when the author actually voices the Audible. That's the best. And I let the author read it to me. So I'm having you read your book to me, and I'm reading the words as we go.
So you do it at the same time?
It seems manic, I know, but what I've learned, and this happened, we started doing a class a couple of years ago, and we've jumped in and out of it. We'll probably jump back in again in 26. It's called TL 306090. So it's a leadership class, and it's strong conversations about our recruiting numbers and all that kind of stuff. And in that class, Matt Teeter, who built the class, he's a great MAPS coach, had us reading 2 books a week.
Oh, gosh.
So you either have to get an inordinate amount of cocaine or listen to Audible really fast or whatever. So I knew over the course of the week, I got to turn the volume down on the Bruins. I can watch them win or lose with the volume off. I turn on Audible and I sort of have it. That way I'm hearing it and seeing it. And it beats it into my pea brain a little bit faster. So I will get that book. But I was going to say, I was concerned I would run out of room on these shelves. But what I've learned is more often than not, and Nate's one of the biggest defenders, he'll come in like, do you have a copy of it? I'm like, yep, and it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. I know. I've got myself into a really bad habit lately. Another book that Nate had given us was The Latte Factor.
Yes.
Oh my God. I've read that now twice.
Yep.
And I think I bought 6 copies of it, and I've been giving it to different people. And the one thing, I mean, just all these different books.
Well, I'm going to throw one at you. We've talked about it a lot. He's actually going to be at Family Reunion too. If you have not read Will Guidara.
What is it?
Unreasonable Hospitality.
I think I've just bought that one. I haven't read it, but I think I just bought it.
It's a yellow cover. It's right over there.
Okay.
Yeah. Unreasonable Hospitality from Will Guidara.
All right.
It is.
Oh, I'm not going to be at Family Reunion.
It's still a fantastic read.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll have to read that.
Will Guidara. Yes.
And I wish, the other thing that I really wish, I would love to, I don't know how I could help you with this. I would love to be able to help you figure out a way to get every single solitary agent that is serious with KW to go to Mega Camp or Family Reunion, one or the other one.
At some point.
Every year. Or go once.
I appreciate that. I've always said, and I was very fortunate, when I got here in 2010, we had just at Cameron was, Aiden was 2005, Cameron was 2006. So Cameron's 4 when I get here. And we sort of traded places. Janina went home because she knew I was going to be doing this. My in-laws were also coming to move in with us in 2010. So I escaped just in time. July. I started July 2010. They moved in August 2010. I'm like, I need to get out of the house. I will go sell real estate. But I was very fortunate that Janina, as soon as I found out about Mega and Family, because I got here and they were about to go to Mega. right? Because mega back then was September. Now it's August, but it was September back in the day.
Right.
And I said to Nate, I'm like, what is this thing? Should I be going? He's like, you should go to anything you can. He's not going to say no, of course. And I just said to the wife, I'm like, I'm going to go do these things. So I've only missed one mega or family my entire time. It was mega camp, Aiden's freshman year of college, because we were driving.
You were driving him, yeah.
And other than that, I've never missed one. Now, if you don't have the bandwidth or the ability to do that, I get it, but I agree with you. I think if you've been here as a Keller agent and you don't ever get yourself to family or mega, you are missing a layer of this,
so much.
A monumental layer of just understanding. Going with people and having, we were just talking the other day, Troy went to his first family. I think it was Orlando 2014.
Okay.
And he's up in the frontish. We're sitting pretty close. And Bob Lucido came out on stage and he had just come over and he's got monstrous numbers. And Troy and Adam and Prue, they're like always fighting to be the big, they're always fighting for number one here at 463, which is super cool.
Yes.
But then you go to those events and it lifts your lid, right?
Yes.
So Troy is standing there and he watches, and this is when, as they're marching out, it says Bob Lucido and Baltimore, Beltway, and his numbers hit. And Troy just turns around and looks at Nate like, yeah, what in the bucket of what? Like how, what? Yeah. And he realized in that moment, I can sit down, I can learn, I can shut up. Right. And not that you need to sit down and learn and shut up, but like there's that potential of just understanding that the pond is bigger and you are a smaller fish and there's room to grow. Above and beyond that, I think most people, and you would agree, and then I have to make fun of the airport because we always have the airport conversation. I think most people would say, I talk to most agents, like the best part is just meeting other agents.
Oh my gosh.
And building the relationships and the referrals across the country.
Were you there the year that I'm thinking it was probably Mega Camp? Family reunion I don't like it as much. I've been many times. Mega Camp I don't miss. Kathy Manchester. Do you know Kathy Manchester? She's
my my first Mega Camp. My first Mega Camp, Kathy Manchester's on stage because I'm sitting there. I just landed.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there two months in and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. And look at this room and holy smokes. And she's up on stage and Gary's going down the dais.
I was there. I had to have been the same one I was at.
Gary's going. So this would have been September. You weren't here yet though. This would have been September of.
Did she do it twice?
I'm sure she's been on stage multiple times.
Oh, okay.
1,000%.
Okay.
So this is going to be September of 10. So you don't get here till November.
I'm not there yet. Yep.
And I'm sitting there, and Gary's going down, having everybody introduce himself as he does. And she's like, Kathy Manchester, Greater Portland. I've been doing real estate for whatever the monumental number was.
She was a state trooper.
And she goes, and I have no idea what I'm doing. And that immediately, just the weight lifted. And I still, and to this day, now in my role, but as an agent, I'd be on the plane on the way home like, oh shit, I have so much work to do. We're doing everything wrong. And now as a staff member, as the productivity coach of this company, oh my God, I have so much work to do. We're doing everything wrong. Like there's always room for growth and there's always the comparison. I know it's the thief of joy, but it's really difficult. I was going to pick on the fact that I tell everybody all the time. I said, you have to understand, even Darlene Colwell-Ellis goes on these trips. And then we're at the airport. We're about to fly home.
Yep.
And she turns to me every time and she's like, you know what, Tim? It's back to basics. I'm like, the fact that that woman has to get on a plane, fly to Texas so Gary can look at her and say, pick up the phone.
Back to basics.
Yeah. I just have to go back to basics, but it's profit in a different land.
Yes.
I can sit on the quick start every morning. And I know I'm the teacher from the Peanuts. And you guys hear me saying 90 days out and this and Fight Club and Midday Protocol. And Gary says it. And you guys are like, oh, hang on. He said make calls. Like, and fine. Whoever you need to get the message from, that's all that matters. And I think going to those events,
it's
mega,
incredible.
Family, spring masterminds, fall masterminds, luxury, commercial, go.
You know which one I did? It blew my mind for me to open my own office.
FSO.
Oh my gosh.
FSO is the best class I think
I have ever been to. And I was in that, and Dick
Dillingham.
He taught it.
Yep.
And he said something about knowing the names of certain people. And I said, I am going to be in the second row, first seat in the second row, because he's going to know my name by the time I'm out of here. I had more conversations with him.
Fantastic.
That was the most amazing class I ever went to. Then I saw Kathy Manchester up there. And after, I was blown away. And Portland and her story to be able to. and she went and got a drink, went to get a soda or a juice or something when she came down. Well, I followed and I went right up, introduced myself to her. Do you know she had me go to Portland and let me drive around with her and showed me all that she did and was teaching me and how she did it? Literally, that's what we've got available to us if you put yourself in those situations.
Yeah.
You know, and the other thing that I would really, really like to say, how are we on time? About time. Okay.
This is not network television. We are at 12:07 and we're rolling. Keep going. Well, I told you I ordered dinner. We're here for we're here
I have appointments this afternoon.
Yeah, well, I got Massimo's going to deliver it himself.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
All right. Massimo's going to bring it.
We both ice wine and carbonara, right?
There you go. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. Octopus fried. His grilled octopus is the best. Yes,
it's fantastic. All the tentacles.
One of the things, and it took me a really long time to get into this, but what you do with the coaching with the agents, and when Jeff D'Angelo was in it, and what he did with the different level of the coaching with the agents, was probably some of the biggest, most incredible changes of my life. Jeff started working with me in 2020 and 2021. I met him every single solitary. And this was after, you and I have met and we've worked together. It's so incredible what you guys have to offer and how you can help people literally excel and literally get whatever it is whatever you can dream. If you dream it, you can have it, but it's only a dream unless you stop putting it in your black book.
The strategy and execution.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
And your 411s and your 531s and all your different 135, right? 135.
GPS, just say GPS.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about, right? You
the 6, 7, 8, 6,
exactly,
7. Sorry, God.
6, 7.
Yep.
But he started working with me, and he started working with me every single month. And he had me do goal setting to the now.
Yep.
And
From the someday goal to the
someday to the now. And I put it all out there, and I did 2027. And then I went backwards, and it's still in my black book that I have here with me now. And I did from 2027 and just did a few little goals. And then every year expanded on it incredibly. Every category using what came out of the one thing, right? That's where that is, using that and and probably even adding my own categories to it as well. And doing your classes. It's so important. How do we get people, the business planning clinics, how do we get people? How many of those have I done? I did them with Tom Heaney. I did them with Shannon. I've done them with you. I've done them with everybody. I went and did Alan Rice's.
Yeah.
I've done so many. Doesn't that get redundant and ridiculous? No, it doesn't. Because when you start putting all of that down and you start doing it and you hold yourself accountable, that's when things happen. And you start doing things. I remember sitting in my old nasty building at 10 4th Street before we tore it down. Holly and Delaney and whoever else was working with me were out in the other room, and I'm sitting in my own little office, and I've got this board up beside me, and it says my goals. You're going to be physically in this condition. You're going to do this many transactions. You're going to earn this much money. I looked up at it and I said, who the hell are you kidding? And I said it out loud. Do you know I've exceeded every single one of those? Every single one of those goals I put down. I never in a million years thought that could happen. And how did I do it? I did it with all the incredible mentors. I did it with you, with your classes. I did it with Jeff. I did it with KW, with listening to Gary, with my family, with the missionary work. We all have those things available to us if we just do it. And then I remember all these different goals coming together. And I got to February 2024. February 2024. It was one of my meetings with Jeff. You're doing this and you're doing this and you're doing fantastic. And I says, yeah, Jeff, but there's still some pieces missing. There's still some things that I'm not doing. And he says, I know. And he says, what are we going to do about that? Going to start taking care of those things too.
Yeah.
That's when I went on my personal journey and my health journey and all of that. Because if we don't feel the best that we can and we're not taking care of ourselves, how can we do everything else? Because eventually we're not going to be here anymore unless we start doing that. And I started doing all that. And I actually met him again last week. And he's obviously, that position is, is changed, but still.
Still a friend, still a mentor.
Yes, yes. But think about the people that we've got available to us. All you have to do is reach out and they're there.
Yep.
Michael Whitney came to one of our meetings last week. He's so funny. He was supposed to be there at a certain time. And we were having our team meeting. The door was open, and we finished up. And I said, "Okay, guys, you got 7 minutes before Michael's going to be here." So, but my great nephew Colby wanted to speak to him because Colby wants to do some international real estate. What better person to have him talk to, right? Or get started with that. And Michael walks right in. Like, what are you doing? We had a few. He said, "Darlene, I've been outside for 15 minutes. I've been listening to you. I've been listening to your team. I've been listening to everything you've been discussing." He said, "You guys are incredible. You're amazing. The energy, the conversation, that's where I feel the team is now." And he came in and he worked with us. He said he'd only give us 20 minutes and he was going to make our head spin. He was probably there with us for about 40 minutes. And he made our head spin. But he has so much to offer. But we all have those people available to us, and we just have to raise our hand and ask the question, and they'll be there to help. I appreciate it. I can't wait to the 18th.
I love that. The whole team coming?
The whole team, and even a few people that aren't agents yet.
I love that.
No, so we will see. And how many times have I been to your class with it? I love it. It's the best.
Well, it should be an annual thing, because the version of you that is currently here is stepping into that class, right? Like that. What's the old adage? The same person does not step into the same stream twice.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like
yes,
you are personally in a different position. You're physically in a different position. Professionally in a different position. So you're going to hear what you're ready to hear.
Right.
Because to my earlier point, I can say the same thing Monday through Friday, then you guys fly to Texas and Gary says it and it's suddenly gospel, right? It's just, it's putting yourself in a place and to be able to take one day, right? And I know it says 9 to 5. I'm going to give everybody the cheat code. Where you're never going to be out of there later than 4:20. You know that. And that's not because I smoke, because I don't smoke. And everybody's like, "Oh, 4:20, it must be a thing." 4:22. Like it's never that late.
That. Okay.
The reason it's 9 to 5 is because if we have enough people in the room, it will be a little bit longer.
Correct.
Right. And I'm going to pick on a lot of people in the country. I see a lot of people posting like, "Hey, we're doing a 4-hour business planning class." That is a disrespectful drive-by shooting to the book that Gary wrote.
Yes.
With Jay and Dave. Like, how do you not spend the time that you need to get through the 4 models that built our company? Right. So, and we got a new twist on goal setting this year. There's a great tool in ChatGPT that somebody in New England built.
Really?
Where I'm going to show you guys, you can do it without additional data and just stuff that you put in. Yeah, it will auto generate based on your DNA from your KPA. Huh. It will basically say, here's where you should go based on your goals. You just give, like anything with AI, you give it the correct prompt and it will.
Oh, I love it. AI and ChatGPT. I was so afraid of it. I wanted nothing to do with it.
It's massive leverage. It's massive leverage.
Well, Melissa and I went to San Antonio for Mega Camp, and we went to the piece that they do before. I've only been there twice.
Oh, the CEO Mastermind.
Yes.
Yeah, Gary's thing.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Incredible. Worth a couple $100 extra.
1,000%.
Oh my gosh. What I took out of there. And I learned so much about that. And I've started using it and implementing it, not just in work, but in personal life and researching and doing things. It's amazing.
Yes, it is.
It's amazing. And you still have to be careful and you still have to do it the right way.
Yeah.
I get all that.
Jay Bear, who's an author, and he's been at Family a few times. He was up on stage in Vegas last year, and he said, you got to treat it 20-60-20. 20% is the prompt you give it.
20-60-20, yes.
60% is the engine working,
hand lifting,
and then the final 20% is you making it Darlene again.
Yes. That hit me the most. The 20-60-20. That
1,000%.
hit me, and it's like, how true is it? Yep. I remember the first time I put together something to get a multi-listed, and I had the numbers and I had everything together. I went in, had that listing within 5 minutes. It was incredible. But I did exactly the 20-60-20. Didn't trust it. Had to go and look at it and review it myself. But it was amazing what it put together.
Cody Gibson from Maps Coaching said this a couple months ago in Quincy. He was out to visit with New England, and he said, with all the tech that we have at our disposal, which is amazing, and it's going to help us move the ball down the field, yes. He goes, the people that are going to win in this industry, and the way he put it was great. For me, I felt like I heard silence in the room. That's the way this hit me, was we're going to win moving forward with all of the tech when we are more human with more humans more often.
I agree.
Like if we let AI and tech strip the humanity out of what we do, we are as foolish as if we let I call them aggregators now, not aggravators. Aggravators, not aggregators. Like if we let our friends over at Billow come in and steal the industry away from us because they're coming in and, taking, market share away. Any of these disruptors that win because we let them take over, because we're letting the mechanical beat the emotional.
Correct.
We're going to be out of our minds.
You can't. It's all about
just
the
use it.
relationships.
It's a sharp arrow in your quiver. And if you're not using AI, you should be investigating the opportunity. Before I let you go, you've been fantastic. If you ran into you freshman year of real estate, or maybe when you first landed here, what would be the advice you would give to the young Darlene Colwell-Ellis?
Specific to the real estate, it would be like if it were the same thing back then, it would have been like E-Edge. I would say do everything. Yes, I know.
Remember Red Tools?
Red Tools,
the greatest
E-Edge,
Russian CRM in America. Yeah,
I would
Red Tools.
The command, listen, read, go to, put yourself in. You get what you give. Put yourself in, and just don't ever forget the human piece and the human contact.
Yeah,
I've done a pretty good job of all that. People that started as a customer became a client.
Yeah,
became friends. They're my family. My family's so doggone big now. I can't even keep in touch with everyone, but I'm still working hard at it because that's always been important to me. But just finding what you love and following the model, because it absolutely works, and you can have and do anything that you can dream of if you're willing to do the work.
Yeah, Gary says you can be anywhere you want to be in 5 years.
Anywhere you want to be in 5 years, and that is absolutely positively true. There's no question.
What is Darlene excited about for the future of the industry?
Excited about what?
For the future of the industry, what are you excited about?
To continue to build it. You hear so many different things that it's going to change. I hope it never does change to the point of what we do with building the relationships and helping people build their dreams. Think about that, whether it's the first apartment or buying their first home. I love helping investors. I love helping build wealth. I hope none of that changes because that's also important.
Yeah. The human element.
What's that?
The human element.
The human element of it.
For sure.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, no question. Tim, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. And I'm
your time. Listen. This is what I do. Yeah. The fact that we were able to get you in here for over 60 minutes is fantastic.
Well, I'm very honored that you asked me.
The season finale too.
I know. I love that.
We'll be back in January with the ALC. We'll be back with. I guess I'm going to call them leaders with a latte. I guess I'll rebrand for the ALC.
That.
Yes.
Have them all read the Latte Factor, though, if they're going to do that.
Yes, that's a worthwhile book. And you're going to get Will Guidera's Unreasonable Hospitality.
Perfect.
For sure. So this is going to hang. This video will stay on FaceSpace for 30 days, and then it goes away. Because if you do something live, it disappears after 30 days. But we are also simulcasting right now over to YouTube. So if you go to kwclmhub.com, go to our learning videos, and you will go into our YouTube page. You'll see it under the live videos, and you're going to be sandwiched between whoever I choose from the ALC to start the year with and Dan O'Halloran. So next to him, you have wonderful hair because you have some.
I have some. Dan doesn't have any.
He has stunning blue eyes. So that's why Christina married him. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Thank you.
Appreciate you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for putting a bow on NateThology for 2025. I almost said 6, but we are almost there. Thanks, kiddo.
Thanks.